Hey, good evening, and welcome back to Everyday Talks 24/7. Really, really wonderful to have you here. It's Tuesday, October 8th, and I'm compelled to keep talking about Milton and the strength of this storm and how it needs to talk to us, how we need to let it talk to us about God and His power. Because as we've looked at the passages in Job 36 and 37, we looked at the passage to talk about Jesus being the Lord of the wind and the waves. And folks are still confronted with the storm. Tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, the storm came back to a Category 5 again. Winds of 165 miles an hour or greater. That will probably decrease by the time it gets to the coast. But it gets our attention. And the Bible speaks to this. I'm going to read the first 7 verses of Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, always ready to help in times of trouble. This is a time of trouble for many folks. It needs to be a time of awareness for the rest of us. So we will not fear when the earthquakes come and the mountains crumble into the sea. And then listen to verse 3. Let the oceans roar. And that's about what to happen. The ocean is roaring. And the people on the southwestern and western Florida Gulf Coast, they just got a strong dose of Hurricane Helene, and they're still trying to clean up from that. Now here comes something that's aimed directly at them. And the psalmist says, let the oceans roar and foam. Let the mountains tremble as the waters surge. Well, that's a description of about what's about to happen. If the path continues to millions of people on the Florida coast. The psalmist here is not shrinking in terror. He's acknowledging the power of the ocean. He's acknowledging the power of the wind and the waves. That's where you and I need to be. We need to be standing in awe, even with a healthy sense of fear and terror, at this great, massive power that God is unleashing. And yet it's just still a small dose of His power. But then notice, the psalmist, after laying this out, after getting our attention, saying, let the oceans roar. Then he says, he contrasts this. Verse 4, a river brings joy to the city of God, the sacred home of the Most High. God dwells in that city. It cannot be destroyed. You see, these roaring of the oceans, the roaring of the events of life that happen to many of us. We may not be in the direct path of Milton, but you and I know what it means to have the waters of life crash into us. We have heard the oceans roar. We have felt the terror and the pain of the hardness of life. And to that, the psalmist is saying, God dwells in that city, it cannot be destroyed. From the very break of day, God will protect it. The world scene may be in chaos, so it says here in verse 6, the nations are in uproar, and their kingdoms crumble. God's voice thunders, and the earth melts. The Lord of heaven's armies is here among us. The God of Israel is our fortress. See what he's saying here. On the world stage, on our personal stage, on the things that have been challenging and painful to us, we have felt that power of the oceans roaring. Just as many will begin feeling that immense power tomorrow in the west coast of Florida. You and I have felt that roar of the devastation of this world. And God is reminding us that this is not our final home, but there is hope. So he's saying to that, in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the turmoil, in the midst of the immense power of storms like Milton, where God's voice does thunder and the earth does melt. The Lord of heaven's armies is here. The God of Israel is our fortress. And how does he comfort us? A river brings joy to the city of our God, the sacred home of the Most High. God dwells in that city. It cannot be destroyed. From the very break of day, God will protect it. This river of life that opens for us in Genesis chapter 2 from Eden and closes for us in Revelation 22 and 21 with this crystal river of life, this life-giving water of the Spirit, the quiet streams that David talks about in Psalm 23. A river brings joy to the city of our God, the sacred home of the Most High. He has dwelt among us. He is here. The Lord of heaven's armies is with you and with me. God dwells in that city. He dwells with us. We cannot be destroyed because God is committed to protect us. As we consider the pain this night, the terror this night, of the winds that are going to blow tomorrow, of the sea that will roar, it's a picture of the challenge of living on this planet until the Lord comes back. And there is this river which brings joy, the river of life, the river of the Spirit, where God is there dwelling with us. Be encouraged this night as we properly understand the roaring of the oceans. Let's remember that there is a river flowing in us which brings joy. And that's my thought for this night. You have a great night, and Lord willing, we'll talk to you tomorrow. You have a good night. Bye-bye.